case, would you please raise your right hand? I'll swear you in. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
In recent years, we've seen new technologies transform our society, most notably by enabling digital communications and facilitating e-commerce. It is essential that we protect these communications to promote free expression, secure commerce and trade, and safeguard sensitive information. We support strong encryption, but we've seen how criminals, including terrorists, are using advances in technology to their advantage. Encryption is not the only challenge we face in today's technological landscape. However, we face significant obstacles in lawfully tracking suspects because they can seamlessly communicate while changing from a known Wi-Fi service to a cellular connection to a Wi-Fi hotspot. They can move from one communication application to another and carry the same conversation or multiple conversations simultaneously. Communication companies do not have standard data retention policies or guidelines, and without historical data, it's very difficult to put pieces of the investigative puzzle together.
This is answering the affirmative, and you are now under oath and subject to the penalties set forth in Title 8.
Since our nation's inception, we've had a reasonable expectation of privacy. This means that only with probable cause and a court order can law enforcement listen to an individual's private conversations or enter their private spaces. But when changes in technology hinder or prohibit our ability to use authorized investigative tools and follow critical leads, we may not be able to root out child predators hiding in the shadows or violent criminals targeting our neighborhoods. We may not be able to identify and stop terrorists who are using today's communication platforms to plan and execute attacks in our country. So we are in this quandary, trying to maximize security as we move into a world where increasingly information is beyond the reach of judicial authority, and trying to maximize privacy in this era of rapid technological advancement. Finding the right balance is a complex endeavor, and it should not be left solely to corporations or to the FBI to solve. It must be publicly debated and deliberated. The American people should decide how we want to govern ourselves in today's world.
For 5 minutes. Make sure your microphone's turned on.
Like in the San Bernardino case, the FBI hired a third party to help them break the code in that phone, and that was what we call gray hats, people who are sort of in this murky market. What do you think about that suggestion, Ms. Hess?
Yes, ma'am. That certainly is one potential solution, but that takes me back to my prior answer, which is that these solutions are very case-by-case specific. They may not work in all instances. They're very dependent upon the fragility of the systems or vulnerabilities we might find, and also they're very time-intensive and resource-intensive, which may not be scalable to enable us to be successful in our investigation.
Do you think there's any ethical issue with using these third-party hackers to do this?
I think that certainly there are vulnerabilities that we should review to make sure that we identify the risks and benefits of being able to exploit those vulnerabilities in a greater setting.
Well, I understand you're doing it because you have to in certain cases. Do you think it's a good policy to follow?
I do not think that that should be the solution.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, thank you for allowing me to testify. My name is Chuck Cohen, and I'm a captain.